Oh, you want to? You care that? Sorry, I just had to give him a little bit of a pep talk because he was a bit like, we were in the same clothes. So I was like, I don't know, should we change? I'm like, Nathan, let's keep it real.
This is new for me, this whole let's jump on social media and just talk about shit. I can't believe people would actually listen to this. It must be because of me, not you, I would reckon.
Excuse me?
Do you want me to say it again? It must be because of me, not you, is why they
I
tune in.
highly doubt it, Mr. I'm so antisocial, I don't have any social media. I'm going to have a Samadhi account that we're going to pretend that it's a work platform, but yet I'm actually going to go on it and like
It is a
stalk
work
all
platform.
these chicks
Oh,
and then
please.
start following them as well.
No.
It is business.
Everyone
Keep
we
business
follow is
and pleasure
business.
separate.
No, you're wrong. You're so wrong. My God.
Anyway, leads us, well, it doesn't really lead us, but this week's, well, I don't even know what week it is, but anyway, so today's topic is about, we touched on it in our last video, resting bitch faces. Gonna do that.
Dun-dun-dun-dun.
Thank you. So I think it's a very interesting concept because when I was working at a club as well, and I'm definitely one
She was a door bitch.
I'm definitely one to do this as well. It's interesting because you'd see a lot of girls come in and they would just have that resting bitch face.
Can you just do it? Because you're really good at it.
No, hang on.
Stick your nose up a little.
I need my resting bitch face, something that would just complete the look. Anyway, so a lot of girls pull the face sort of thing to be like, don't talk to me, don't touch me, do not even interact with me sort of thing. But really, it's actually just the way a lot of us, me personally, actually cope with the situation. It's sort of a way that we can have that barrier up and to make us feel a little bit more stronger within as well, to give us a little bit more confidence. But I was always on it. I was like, no guys ever come to me, not saying I'm absolutely amazing, but not even like one. And Nathan was like, you literally have a resting bitch face. Why would we want to come up to you? And I was like, yeah, but isn't that sort of attractive? Like seeing the girl and you're like, oh, she's a boss ass. Yep, she's got like this whole look about her. And he's like, no. So I really wanted to like delve into that because I find that quite interesting. And then as I became more aware of it and I saw the girls coming in, I actually thought the same as him. I was like, hun, just smile. It doesn't hurt anyone. And I was actually for what he was saying. So go. What are your thoughts on resting bitch faces, eh?
You're right in saying that some guys will just approach. I think we touched on this in the last video, and that's fine. But majority of guys, right? You've got some that are a bit pretentious and so forth, and that's just how they react, and that's fine. And they might just go approach it. But most guys, I think, generally want connection and empathy and feel love and kind support. And you know, the kind of last thing you want to do is actually go up and actually talk to someone that looks like she's just stuck up. One is because it's a bit of an ego thing. It's like, I don't want to give her my attention because then she'll get it. And two, it's like, you know, how are you showing that you're, and just from a looks, but how do you show that you're nice and you're kind by not having this? So I think it's probably a little bit intimidating. Two, it's a bit like, I don't think she's got any love within her, which is a big judgment call, which I'm sure definitely isn't the case. But I think you've got to kind of break it down. So I get like being confident, and I think is a very, and I've said this once before. Confidence in a woman is a very attractive thing, very, very attractive. However, it's got to be shown with compassion and kindness and love. Like for me, the last thing I'm going to do is go up to a girl that looks like she's just too good for everybody and do it. We used to, back in my younger days, is you do it for fun. Like you'd see this girl that was there just like a bitch and you just go just start talking to her as a bit of a game. Like, and that's not a good thing to do at all. And I'm not saying that at all. But you know, it's like, you know, you're playing a game, I'm playing a game. It's not going to work, right? We're all just playing games. Like, just be true to yourself.
Do you believe though it's also a lot of males wouldn't go and approach the girl whom they've had the resting bitch face because it's an ego thing as well?
Of course
because
it is.
They're scared of actually, which was what we touched in our last one, rejection.
Of course it is. Of course it is. Because for many men, a strong woman is intimidating. Let's face it. We've gone through this whole hunter and gatherer primal stage where men were the strong, you know, physical We've never been strong emotionally compared to women. I can tell you now. And I think with that, it's now been a bit of a role reversal, and a lot of men just into our epigenetics and our subconscious is we're not used to that, right? And that triggers something within that, we often can feel insuperior by actually like allowing us to surrender and go into someone that's very strong and so forth. But again, some people love that and it really works. I'm just trying to generalize a little bit here. Most guys, I think can respect a strong woman, but it's that balance of power. There's a feminine and masculine energy. I think we've spoken about this before, and it's about just balancing that out because men are men, women are women, and we've both got the same sort of energy running through us, and we've just got to kind of balance it based on different personalities.
I find that interesting because I also feel like, a lot of men are scared of powerful women. Like a lot of guys, if I can get my words out, a lot of males.
You have that trouble.
Thanks. Just keeping it raw, authentic, unedited,
Good.
Sees all my traits.
That's why you wouldn't do the camera the other way, because you could see the bags under your eyes.
You can probably see them still.
Oh, so it's okay now because I said it, but if I didn't say it, you wouldn't have said anything, would you?
Okay. I'm still working on myself every day.
You do
right?
your hair a lot.
My hair? Oh, sarcasm. Anyway, so what I was saying was that I find it interesting because, if a male sees a female and she's got her shit sorted, has her own business, or on the way to developing that business and stuff, I find that a lot of men see that as intimidating because they might not have their shit together, and therefore they don't want to approach that girl. They start to see, like you said, they throw out the it'll fail, or do this or do that, and they'll start reflecting on their own insecurities as well. And I find that very interesting because even now with my stuff and starting to open up and everything, I've always thought if a guy was to go onto my Instagram, he would 100% be turned away at how open, vulnerable, how I'm literally listing every single thing about me on there, and I don't reckon that would look attractive to a male. But then I've got to think, hang on a second, and maybe not to all males, but maybe to a male or some males it might be.
I think if you can be as close to your genuine self as possible, you're going to attract people into your life that are on that same wavelength, same path. So I think it's when we start putting up barriers and we start hiding and we start pretending and basing our life around shit that it's not really that important to us, we just perceive as being important, is when we attract people into our lives that are quite aligned with that, and it doesn't suit who we really are. So I think that whole piece around vulnerability and being your authentic self, once you can embrace that and achieve that, I think your life changes. People around you changes, experiences changes, work, love, play, everything around you just adapts, and it's an energy thing, right? So your energy is so much different, it's more aligned, and you attract that type of energy, because that's all we really are in the day. We're just energy.
Yeah, and so bringing it back to the resting bitch face. So if you were at a club and you saw a girl with bum, what would you do? Would you approach her?
I would give a smile first, and if she didn't respond with some sort of smile, like if it was like and turn her back, I'm not coming near, because I've learned now, I'm not giving my energy to people that don't deserve it and don't want it. I think for me, when I was younger, there was a part of me that was that chase. It was that, you want to be a bitch? Oh, I can get you. I can do it. Right now, it's not worth it, because if genuine people in your life, I think as you get older, you start seeing these come into your life, and you really want that connection. So if they're not going to respond back in some sort of kindness, it's not worth it. Like, seriously.
Meet you halfway or something.
Yeah, like away you go. Like I think there's sexiness in like a confident girl that can a little bit flirty and a little bit but if you're just going to be a bitch, well, why am I going to waste time? Because I think we need to fight for those that we want in our life, but not to the extent that it's an uphill battle, because I'm still a firm believer that those that you need in your life will be in your life, and there might be some challenges and ups and downs, but it shouldn't be an absolute battle or a bloodbath at all.
Yeah. And it's interesting because a lot of the time when us girls hold that face, it's a bit of a barrier to keep us a little bit away. We're feeling a bit reserved, or it could just be in order to make us feel like we have confidence, to be like, no, I've got my face on sort of thing. I'm confident, but really we're actually lacking it. within.
But I throw it back to you. Why can't a girl approach a guy?
Or I think it
Why?
comes back
It's bullshit. Guys have to do everything. Guys have to go and make the first move. Like, stuff it.
I think it comes back to, you know, back in the day, guys were always the ones to, you know, provide for the family,
Yeah.
do all that stuff. So that male figure.
That's when we had battens and we run around caves and lighting fires. We now live in metropolitan cities and countries, and things are very different.
I think it comes back to the fear of rejection as well for a lot of us girls. Like, you know, we've been seeing that males can be so, yeah, they're flirty and everything, but there's a lot of trust issues with males and females, because a lot of females feel like males, you know, all they do is fuck around, all they do is like go girl to girl to girl sort of thing. So it's like, why would a girl go up there to a male, especially if he's with all his mates? A, it's freaking intimidating. B, males react differently in a group scenario than when they're by themselves. True fact, have seen it before.
What?
And C, I also feel like it's then that reflection part, because a girl feels like they're not going to sort of reciprocate the response, which is really interesting, because it's like, what's the worst thing that can happen? You go up to a guy and you approach them, what's he going to do? Hey.
But the thing is, guys feel the same. This is what I struggle to get my head around. It's all right for girls to say all this shit, so the guy just has to go and do it. We feel the same thing, so this is double standards. Like, it is. Like, look at the key fundamental of this topic is, why can't a woman go and they probably can, some do, but in general, I find, no, they don't. Why can't they? Because why? It's perceived that men should come up. Well, okay, that's one part of it, but, you know, why can't you? I still get hurt. I still have my confidence shot if I get rejected. Well, why is it all right for me but not for you?
It's very interesting. Very interesting.
But there's no response to that, is there?
Well, because
There's no logical response.
Thinking. Like I said before, I reckon it just goes back to years and years ago when it was always the guy's approach. It was always that key masculine figure. It was like you would sort of smile at them, and then if they would then smile back, then they would come up and they would approach you. That was just the way it sort of worked. Whereas now with Bumble and different dating apps where it's like girls can make the first move sort of thing, it's probably now helping a lot of females start to build that confidence and to start to approach a guy. But then again, it's different in a setting. I find that guys are usually in groups together when they're out. You know how intimidating it is going up to a group of guys, because they all feed off one another, and especially if they've got alcohol in them, their levels of what am I trying to say? Level of what's the word? I forget things.
Passion, care, understanding.
Nah, it's like they're 30, but they're acting like a 20-something-year-old. Maturity levels, there we go, I knew it would come to me. Their maturity levels just goes down as well, because they play that game with each other and they all just feed off each other's bullshit. That is why girls don't like going up to guys.
Females don't do something similar? So you'd say for a guy to walk up, and I've done it before, a guy to walk up to a group of a guy to walk up to like a group of 5 or 8 girls, like, takes confidence. And not every guy's going to do that, right? Because it comes back to our thing before about that whole rejection thing. But females feed off each other too. It's different. Don't get me wrong. Yes, I have seen groups of guys that act like fucking kids, and but they're not all like that. Again, so we can't generalize here. But females, like I said, draw off each other too in big groups. A guy's going to go over there and he's going to have a chat, and then he's got to try and they're all going to be looking and looking him up and down and analysing him. Females analyse people better. Females analyse males better than what males can analyse females, because females, I find, are more emotionally connected. So within, I reckon, 5-10 minutes, a female can really analyse most males pretty well, whereas most men, I'm not one of them, but most men can go there and probably not pick up on too much for the first 5-10 minutes because they're too busy looking at her ass or her chest or her lips or whatever that kind of is.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Standards.
I get what you mean, but I think it just goes back to, and it's interesting because especially when society has changed now to be like female empowerment, feminism, all that stuff, but yet for those simple little things, a lot of girls struggle to then actually change that, what the norm is, to change that and be like, nah, the females should go and approach the males. But it's bloody hard. It is hard.
Just walk up and say hello. God. And if they're in a big group, well, don't. You can probably see from a distance if they're rowdy, they're being dickheads, right? You can see that, and you can see it typically in pubs and bars and wherever you go, a big group of men that just look like they're just, like you said, a bunch of 12-year-olds. Don't go up to that group. Don't. Or wait till one of them's alone that you think's kind of hot and has got a nice haircut and everything, and away you go. Say hello. Try it once. What's the worst that can happen? He's going to say, I doubt it.
And that's the other thing. It's like, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? Usually they're going to say something back to you at least. They're not going to ignore you.
And for a girl, if the guy's got a girlfriend, the girlfriend's not going to smack him out. Whereas normally if a guy goes up to a girl and she's got a boyfriend, I reckon there's more risk of you getting clobbered. So I reckon you're safer from a physical level too, females.
That is true. Have you had experience with that before?
Never.
I was going to say you should read the room because usually you can see them
I'm
together.
pretty good at reading the room.
Yeah, right. Okay. Well, interesting. So, some take-homes from this. 8, girls smile a little bit more. You might find that you will look more approachable and people might actually approach you a bit more. 2, try asking or try going up to a guy instead of thinking it needs to be the males. Because yes, I totally agree with you, Nathan, for once. I hate to even say it, but
You should always agree with me because I'm always right.
It's double standards. So maybe try go up to that guy you've been eyeing off. And see? Lauren is a chicken shit and she needs to get her shit together.
That was 3, not C.
See? Lauren is a chicken shit.
You get your numbers and words mixed up.
See? Whatever. 3rd point.
That's better. Lauren.
4th point, Nathan's freaking annoying. Done.
Something got turned off now.
Oh, well, I did it last time. Aren't you just going to... No.
Turn
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. In our next video, we'll probably be wearing something different because he's a bit funny like that. Have a beautiful afternoon.